What's poppin', people? It's Dante. This morning I want to share with you a very simple thought that I have about photography being photography has nothing to do with photography. And what do I mean by that? Why am I telling you that photography has nothing to do with the medium itself? I believe this to be true because photography has everything to do with yourself, how you perceive the world, how you engage with life. And for me, a photograph merely is a reflection of your lust for life, of you being there and being present when you press the shutter, on the front lines of life, close to humanity, both physically and emotionally. As much as a photographer is responsible for being present closely to press the shutter at that right moment, at that right time, aligning the foreground, the middle ground, and the background to make a strong composition, this derives through your intuition. This derives through being present in the moment and being engaged on the front lines of life, close to life, on the street, in the world, exploring endlessly. Because this world, it's just our canvas, and the world is an arena. It's this place for us to conquer, to go out there and to do something with. It's not necessarily this visual game. Photography, as much as you can align a composition, as much as you can create something that's visually engaging, I think it's important to remind ourselves as photographers that we are required to go out there into the world. We are required to be present at the moment we press the shutter. We must be there and be engaged out there with humanity. If you're going to make photographs, if you want to travel the world, well, then you should go out there and do the thing itself. I'm making this video because I want to be a motivator for the person that actually wants to do the thing. Instead of sitting around and dwelling on these ideas that you have in your head and have all of these preconceived ideas of photos you could possibly make, why don't you just go out there and try to do the thing? I think that we get caught up in what makes or breaks a great photograph. How can we visually increase our ability to make a composition? What are the different tips and tricks that I can put under my tool belt to go out there and practice photography? But guess what? All you need to do is pick up a backpack, put your camera in your pocket, put your camera around your neck, and get the fuck out there, dude. I think photography has nothing to do with photography because it has everything to do with how you engage with life and humanity at the forefront. Your perception of the world is the reflection in the photographs that you create. Where you can turn inward in your soul. You can turn inward and photograph your hometown and create something otherworldly in your own hometown. You don't need to travel too far. You could take a train, a plane, a bus. You could go anywhere in this world. You could also just step outside and walk. You could engage with life in a nuanced way, where you're not limited by the constraints of the four corners of the frame. When you look back at the photographs you've made and you see that you photographed a man on the sidewalk walking around Philadelphia in your local hometown, you have to remind yourself that there's more outside of the four corners of that frame. There's more out there in this endless expanse of the world. There's so many possibilities. There's so much to do, to see, to explore, and to photograph in this life of ours. And I want to encourage photographers to see the world, to photograph more, to be present more, because ultimately that's the gift of life, I believe, is to simply be there and be present in the moment. And photography, I believe it brings you closer to the moments. It brings you closer to the now, where we have a past, we have a future, but these things aren't of our concern. For when you're walking and you're moving and you're exploring with the camera, you exist outside this passage of time. And maybe we won't live forever, but at least you can make a photograph. And photography empowers you because of this very fact. Photography has empowered me because it reminds me how much there is to do in this world, how much there is to see and to photograph. If you want to go out there and see the country, hop in a car, hop in a taxi, hop on a train and see the world. Look at this. We have Robert Frank, The Americans. Road trip. If you want to take a road trip, take a road trip. Go out there and see life. Go out there and experience more. This is how you make photographs. You make photographs by going out there and doing things, by experiencing things. If you want to go out there and see Haiti, well, why don't you muster up the balls to go somewhere that you've never really dreamt of before and go out there and do the thing? Maybe you could go out there and see Haiti. Maybe you could go out there and travel to an island. There's so many places in the world. There's so many possibilities. There's so many different things that you could photograph, so many different people, so many different cultures, so many different places. All you really have to do is set your body in motion without any preconceived notions of what you will find. I think that we oftentimes dwell with this mediocre mindset where, everything's been done under the sun. I've seen it all. I've done it all. There is an infinite number of possibilities, and photography reminds me this. There are an infinite number of photographs that you could possibly make. Photography is so new, in my opinion. I think that this medium is so fresh. I feel like we're just getting started. I'm just getting started with my photography journey after a decade of photographing, and that makes me so eager each day to go out there and to continuously press the shutter. Photography has nothing to do with photography. For me, photography and the click of the shutter, it affirms my life. It gives my life deeper meaning and a sense of purpose when I move forward each day. And so I encourage you to embrace the spirit of play. Remain a child, remain an amateur forever. Let go of all of the preconceived ideas you have and simply explore and photograph and follow your curiosity with courage at the forefront. And you'll be surprised at where that leads you, because I can promise you that not everything has been done. As mundane as things may seem, there are an infinite ways to photograph. There is so much to do, to see, to explore, and you really have to just open up your door and treat the camera as a passport, as a key to unlock the door to the multifaceted complexities of life. If you want to photograph life, you must experience life. If you want to see the world, you got to go out there and see the world. You can't sit behind your computer screen dwelling and studying photo books all day. You actually have to go out there and do the thing. And so for me, photography, it has nothing to do with photography. Photography is easy. Photography is so simple. All photography is, really, is you positioning your physical body in relationship to a moment and the background. And you click the shutter through your gut at that decisive moment. This is what photography is, simply put. Photography is simple. What's difficult is being present. What's difficult is being engaged with the world, with humanity, with life. And so forget about the photographs. Forget about the visual game of photography and embrace the physical nature of life through open world exploration. This, to me, is where the magic happens. This, to me, is where I found my joy. And hopefully you too can find this feeling of joy and bliss through the production of new photographs. Because photography is easy. All you need to do is set your body in motion. Go out there, explore, photograph, open your door. I think you'd benefit from letting go of this identity of being a photographer. This idea that you have of what photography even is, and just go out there and to get close to life. Go out there on the front lines of life and follow your joy, and ultimately your photographs will reflect that lust for life. And that's what I believe. This is my thought about why photography has nothing to do with photography. Yeah, it's much more interesting to think about photography this way, because anybody can take pictures. It's a fact. We all have iPhones, we all have cameras, we all have the ability to go out there and do this thing, which is amazing. It's the most democratic medium. Anyone can pick up a camera and go, this is a great thing. Photography is easy. But it's very difficult to get close to life. It's very difficult to uplift humanity to an extraordinary height in a photograph. That's going to require some patience. That's going to require some time spent in the world. That's going to require you to go out there with courage at the forefront. That's going to require you to forget everything that you think you know and just go. So I encourage you to do so. And remember that photography has nothing to do with photography. Photography has everything to do with you being present when you press the shutter in the world. It's a physical medium. As much as it's a visual game, that's the easy part. The difficult part is being out there. Some thoughts about photography. Cheers.